There is a ritual so terrifying, so physically shocking, that it was designed to kill the person you used to be. Have you ever felt like you were sleepwalking? You wake up, you grab your phone, you scroll, you eat, but you don't taste the food. You work, but you don't feel the purpose. You watch videos, but you don't retain the information. You are technically alive, but your spirit feels dead, buried under layers of cheap dopamine, quick pleasures, and constant noise. Modern science calls this dopamine downregulation, or anhedonia, the inability to feel pleasure. But the ancient Shinto priests of Japan had a different name for it. They called it Kegare. It translates to withered spirit or pollution. They believed that when a human being is exposed to too much filth, not physical dirt, but the filth of stagnation, comfort, and excess, the spirit literally shrinks. And they knew that you cannot clean a withered spirit with a self-help book. You cannot reset your mind with a meditation app. To wash away the filth of the modern world, you need something violent. You need a shock. You need Misogi. Today, you will discover the scariest ritual of purification in existence. A practice that doesn't just lower your screen time, but completely obliterates the neural pathways of addiction in your brain. But be warned, this is not a 30-day social media detox. This is a spiritual amputation. The story begins with a man named Leo. Leo is 29 years old, a senior copywriter at a marketing firm. On paper, Leo is successful. He makes good money, lives in a nice apartment, and has no real tragedies in his life. But Leo is suffering from a modern plague. He is numb. His average screen time is 7 hours a day. When he tries to watch a movie, he pulls out his phone because the movie is too slow. When he tries to read a book, his eyes scan the same paragraph 5 times because his brain is screaming for a notification. When he is intimate with his girlfriend, his mind is elsewhere, replaying 15-second clips from the internet. Leo is a junkie, but he doesn't inject heroin. He injects information. He injects validation. He injects noise. One Tuesday night, Leo hits rock bottom. It wasn't a dramatic event. He didn't lose his job or get into a car accident. He was simply sitting on his couch, ordering food delivery. He spent 45 minutes scrolling through the menu, unable to decide what to eat. When the food finally arrived, he took the first bite and realized he felt absolutely nothing. No joy, no satisfaction, not even hunger, just a mechanical chewing action while his eyes stayed glued to a screen. He looked at his hands. They were soft. He looked at his eyes in the reflection of his darkened phone screen. They were dead. He realized he hadn't felt a strong emotion, fear, love, anger, or joy in 3 years. He was living in a gray fog. He decided right then to change. He did what everyone does. He searched how to fix dopamine on YouTube. He watched the videos. He turned his phone to grayscale. He bought a lockbox for his electronics. He promised to meditate for 10 minutes a day, and it worked for 4 days. On the 5th day, he had a stressful meeting. The cortisol spiked. His brain screamed for relief. He cracked the lockbox. He turned the colors back on. And within 3 hours, he had binged an entire season of a show he didn't even like and scrolled until 3 a.m. The relapse was worse than the addiction, because now Leo knew he was weak. He knew that willpower was a lie told by people who weren't true addicts. He didn't need a habit tracker. He needed an exorcism. Leo took a leave of absence. He didn't tell his friends where he was going because he knew they would laugh. He traveled to a remote prefecture in Japan, to the base of Mount Ontake, a place known for the Yamabushi, the ascetic mountain monks. He wasn't looking for peace, he was looking for pain. He found a small dojo at the foot of the mountain run by a man named Yamashita. Yamashita was 70 years old, but he moved with the frightening intensity of a jungle cat. He didn't smile. He didn't offer Leo tea. When Leo explained his problem, that he was addicted to his phone, that he felt numb, Yamashita didn't offer sympathy. He looked at Leo with disgust, not the disgust of judgment, but the disgust one feels when seeing a rusted, neglected blade. "You are full of Kegare," Yamashita said. His voice sounded like gravel grinding together. "You are not tired. You are heavy. You carry the weight of 10,000 useless images in your head. You have forgotten that you are a biological organism designed for struggle. You have become a domestic pet." "How do I fix it?" Leo asked. "I've tried the apps. I've tried the timers." "You cannot think your way out of a prison made of thought," Yamashita replied. "To clean the spirit, we must shock the body. Tomorrow, we perform Misogi." Leo thought he knew what cold was. He thought Misogi meant splashing some water on his face and clapping his hands. He went to sleep in the unheated dormitory, shivering slightly, unaware that he was about to face the physical equivalent of death. At 4 a.m., a wooden gong shattered Leo's sleep. It was pitch black. The air in the mountain was thin and freezing. Yamashita was already waiting outside, wearing nothing but a thin white loincloth called a fundoshi. He threw one to Leo. "Put this on, nothing else." Leo stripped. The cold air bit his skin immediately. He was already uncomfortable, already regretting this. They hiked for 40 minutes up a steep, rocky trail. The only light came from the moon. Leo's feet were bleeding inside his sandals, his lungs burned, but Yamashita didn't stop. Then Leo heard it, a roar, like a jet engine. They turned a corner, and there it was, a waterfall crashing down from 30 meters up. The water was dark, violent, and deafening. It was meltwater from the snow-capped peaks. It was barely above freezing temperature. "This is the mouth of the dragon," Yamashita shouted over the roar. "Here, your logic dies. Here, your addiction dies." The ritual of Misogi usually involves standing under the water for a set period, chanting the Harai Tamai, the prayer of cleansing. "Get in," Yamashita ordered. Leo approached the water. The spray alone felt like needles. His brain, the same brain that couldn't decide what to order for dinner, suddenly became a supercomputer of excuses. "This is dangerous. You could get hypothermia. You could have a heart attack. This is stupid. Let's go back to the hotel." I can't," Leo stammered. Yamashita stepped closer. He didn't hit Leo. He simply whispered, "This fear, this hesitation, this is the Kegare. It is the voice of the weak man you are trying to kill. If you step back now, that weak man owns you forever. If you step in, he dies." Leo looked at the black water. Then he looked at the life he had left behind. The gray fog, the scrolling, the numbness. He realized that the freezing water was less scary than spending the next 40 years as a zombie. He stepped in. The moment the water hit his shoulders, Leo's world ended. It wasn't just cold, it was an assault. The weight of the water crushed him against the rocks. The temperature shocked his system so profoundly that his diaphragm seized. He couldn't breathe. He gasped, swallowing water. His vision narrowed to a pinhole. Every neuron in his body screamed, "Die, pain, escape." It was the highest level of physical stress a human can endure without dying, and in that moment something miraculous happened. He forgot about his phone. He forgot about his job. He forgot about the awkward conversation he had 3 years ago. He forgot his own name. When you are under the crushing weight of freezing water, there is no past. There is no future. There is only the violent, terrifying now. Yamashita stood on the bank, shouting, "Don't fight it. If you fight the cold, you break. Accept it. Breathe." Leo tried to fight. He tensed his muscles. He tried to shield himself. But the water was relentless. It hammered him. He began to hyperventilate. He was about to run out. Then he remembered the chant. Yamashita had taught him the simple syllables. Harai Tamai, Kiyome Tamai. Cleanse me, purify me. Leo screamed the words. Not out of piety, but out of desperation. He screamed to force air into his lungs. Harai tamai. The sound came out as a guttural roar, and with that roar, the shift happened. Let's pause Leo's torture for a moment to understand what is happening to his brain, because this isn't just mysticism, it is biology. A neuroscientist at Stanford University recently discovered a brain structure called the Anterior Midcingulate Cortex. This is considered the seat of willpower. They found that in people who are obese, depressed, or addicted, this area is shrunken. In athletes and high performers, it is large. But here is the key finding. The AMCC only grows when you do something you do not want to do. If you love running and you go for a run, the AMCC doesn't grow. It only grows when your entire being screams no, and you do it anyway. Leo, standing under that waterfall, was engaging in the most potent hypertrophy of the AMCC possible. He was lifting the heaviest mental weight of his life. Simultaneously, the cold shock was flooding his brain with norepinephrine, a neurotransmitter responsible for focus, mood, and vigilance. Studies show that cold immersion can increase norepinephrine levels by 500%. Leo's dopamine receptors, fried by years of cheap digital candy, were being shocked back into sensitivity. The pain was resetting his baseline. When you experience intense pain or discomfort voluntarily, the relief that follows creates a sustained, healthy release of dopamine that lasts for hours. This is the opposite of the crash you get after TikTok. Leo wasn't just getting wet, he was undergoing a neurochemical factory reset. Back in the water, Leo had stopped shaking. He hadn't warmed up, that's a myth. He was still freezing, but he had entered a state the samurai called mushin, no mind. The mental chatter was gone. The voice that analyzed everything, the voice that needed validation, the voice that craved comfort, it had drowned. All that was left was the sensation of the water, the sound of the roar, and the beat of his heart. He felt incredibly small, like a speck of dust in the universe. And in that smallness, he felt free. He realized that his stress at work was a joke compared to this. He realized that his need to check Instagram was pathetic compared to the need to breathe. The hierarchy of his values was violently rearranged. Yamashita clapped his hands. Out! Leo stepped out of the waterfall. His skin was bright red. Steam rose from his body into the morning air. He fell to his knees on the mossy rocks, and then the rush hit him. It wasn't a rush of excitement. It was a rush of clarity. The world suddenly looked high definition. The green of the moss was blindingly green. The sound of the wind was like a symphony. The air tasted sweet. For the first time in 3 years, the gray fog was gone. He looked at Yamashita. The old master didn't congratulate him. He just handed him a towel. Now, Yamashita said, the real work begins. The waterfall is easy. The waterfall forces you to be present. The hard part is staying present when you go back to the world of comfort. Leo stayed at the dojo for 7 days. Every morning the waterfall, every morning the death of the ego, every morning the resurrection. By day 7, Leo didn't need to scream. He walked into the water with dignity. He stood under the crushing weight with a straight spine. He had forged a container for his spirit. When he returned to the city, his friends barely recognized him. He hadn't lost much weight, but his eyes were different. They were still. They didn't dart around the room looking for stimulation. He went to dinner with his colleagues. Everyone pulled out their phones. The old Leo would have joined them. The new Leo simply sat there, drinking his water, perfectly content to do nothing. He noticed the vibration of the restaurant. He tasted the texture of the rice. He listened to the conversation. He didn't feel the itch. When his phone buzzed, he didn't jump. He looked at it, decided it wasn't important, and put it away. The device that used to be his master was now just a tool. One night, the urge to doom scroll returned. The old pathways in the brain are deep. They don't vanish overnight. Leo felt the phantom limb of addiction reaching for the screen. But this time, he had a reference point. He closed his eyes and remembered the waterfall. He remembered the freezing weight. He remembered that he had endured the mouth of the dragon. Compared to that, the urge to watch a 10-second video was laughable. He activated his anterior midcingulate cortex. He said no, and he went to sleep. You might be thinking, Thanitsu, this is a great story, but I live in Ohio. I don't have a mystic waterfall or a Japanese master. How does this help me? You don't need Mount Ontake. You don't need Yamashita. Misogi is not a location. Misogi is a protocol, and you can replicate it right now in your bathroom, but you must treat it with the reverence of a ritual, or it will fail. If you just take a cold shower, it's hygiene. If you perform Misogi, it's transformation. Here is the protocol to reset your dopamine and kill the weak self. Step 1. The preparation, the harai. You must eliminate the noise before the shock. For 24 hours before your ritual, you must consume zero digital entertainment. No music, no podcasts, no videos. Only work and silence. This starves the dopamine receptors, making them sensitive to the shock. Step 2. The threshold. Enter your bathroom. Do not bring your phone. Stand before the shower. This is your waterfall. Look at the handle. Understand that turning it to the coldest setting is a choice between the old you and the new you. Step 3. The shock, the gammon. Turn the water to the absolute coldest setting. Do not test it with your hand. Step directly under it. Let it hit your head and neck. Your brain will panic. It will beg you to step out. This is the critical moment. This is where you train the willpower muscle. Do not tense up. Do not cross your arms. Open your chest to the cold. Stand there. Step 4. The silence, the mushin. Your goal is not to endure the cold. It is to calm your mind within the cold. Focus on your breath. Slow it down. 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out. Stay until the shivering stops. Stay until the panic subsides. Stay until you find the silence in the center of the storm. Aim for 3 to 5 minutes. Step 5. The aftermath. When you turn the water off, do not immediately grab a warm towel. Stand in the air. Feel the heat generating from your own core. In this moment of clarity, make a decision. What is one thing you are going to cut from your life? What is one thing you are going to pursue? Decide while your chemistry is altered. The samurai believed that a sword must be heated in the fire and quenched in the water to become steel. If it stays in the fire, it is too soft. If it stays in the water, it is too brittle. We live in a world of fire, constant stimulation, constant noise, constant heat. We are soft. We have no edge. We need the water. We need the misogi. The scariest part of this ritual isn't the cold. The scariest part is realizing how addicted you actually were. The scariest part is the silence that follows, where you are forced to sit with your own thoughts without a digital pacifier. But in that silence, you will find something you thought was lost forever. You will find your own will. Leo didn't become a monk. He didn't move to the mountains. He is still a copywriter. He still uses the internet, but he is no longer a slave to it. He walks through the digital storm without getting wet. You have a choice today. You can click off this video, open another tab, and continue sleepwalking through the gray fog of your life. You can let your spirit wither until there is nothing left but a consumer of content. Or you can go to the bathroom, you can turn the handle, you can step into the cold, and you can find out who you really are when the noise stops. The water is waiting. The dragon is waiting. If this video woke something up in you, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell and tell me in the comments, what is the filth you need to wash away? Is it procrastination, lust, envy, sloth? Name it and then go kill it in the cold. Thank you for your attention. See you in the next video. Be unshakable.